excited today. Lacey is here representing Mosquito Authority Pest Authority.
Yes.
Um, Super excited to have her here. She's going to talk to us a little bit about her company, kind of how they got started in their company, and then I just kind of have like the general like industry questions. So if there's anyone who isn't able to utilize you in the Montgomery County, North Houston area,
Mhm.
just things to look out for when you're looking for other pest companies out there. So,
Right.
um, yay, Lacey! Thanks for
Yes.
being willing to test out YouTube Live. It's very exciting. So,
I love it. Thank
um,
you.
oh my goodness, yes, and you have to do YouTube Live on your phone. So I apologize for. I'm gonna get fun like calls all this whole time. So,
We're live,
technical
right?
difficulties. Yes. Um, so yeah, Lacey, if you want to kind of just give us a brief overview of why this industry and a little bit about how your company started.
Yeah. So again, like you said, my husband and I own Mosquito and Pest Authority. This is our first full year of pest. We started Mosquito Authority in 2021. My husband was in oil and gas, and he had always wanted to start another business, a side business. And I told him, as you know, it's got to be something I believe in because I would be selling it and then running it, selling the idea. And so he got laid off during COVID from oil and gas. And he was like, it just kind of got him thinking, what is recession proof? What is always going to be needed? How can we help someone, for a very long time and pest control, right? So we started Mosquito Authority. And because again, COVID, everyone's home, Houston. And so we built a really good following with our customers. They wanted to know what else we could do with them, for them, I should say. And a lot of them told us, get into pest control. I love the customer service. I trust you guys. I trust what you're telling me about my yard. Because even with Mosquito Authority, we could treat flea. Richard was certified, so we could treat flea, tick, those kind of pests. But they wanted us to do more. So it was kind of a no brainer. And like I said, this year we made one full year of Mosquito and Pest Authority. So small business, I love it. I quit my full-time job in construction as a project manager to now be a business owner and love dealing with people, love problem solving. So running this now.
So I just want to touch on two things that you brought up. So one of the like concerns or questions that pop up when people are Googling or looking for companies was reputation.
Mm,
And so, I mean, just by you speaking, I mean, obviously you can tell when people get into an industry and they like serving people, they believe in what they do, and, they feel good about it. And so, I mean, just right there, like you were able to, show us that, like, that is exactly like how you're connected with it. And it kind of makes me laugh because so many people are like, I'm so passionate about working out, so I want to be a workout coach, or I'm so passionate about, whatever industry it is and stuff. And it's like, it's not like as a little girl, you were probably like, oh my gosh, I want to be like a pest and
right,
bug, I want to study
right.
bugs.
I know. And it's so funny because my husband, again, being in oil and gas, he would be working overseas or something. I'd be by myself. And I was deathly afraid of the moment I would see a roach and Richard would be out of town, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who's going to come and kill it? And so when we started this business, he's like, you realize you're going to have to talk about roaches. And I was like, I am. So yes, I did all the training. I can say the word now and talk about it. So, yeah, I never
Right.
thought, even my parents, they're like, did you ever think you would have a company that has to deal with roaches? I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't at all. But there's a need, and like I said, we're problem solvers. So and I can sympathize with people who call all freaked out that they're seeing those things in their house. So,
Right. You're like,
yes.
I feel you. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
We will
I am
be
also
there.
deathly afraid of them. Yes, I will be right on it. Sending someone over now.
I love that. See, that's so awesome. Another piece I love that you talked about in your business, which so many people do backwards, is you found your niche. You found like that like huge need. Like you said, Houston, Texas, humid, gross, whatever, like mosquitoes, hands down. all
Mhm.
year long. There's no like off season for mosquitoes. And that is what you guys started in. And then based off of reputation and growing a company and demand, you were able to then expand into pest. So I think that's really like powerful to know is you guys are growing and expanding based off of your clients'
Yes.
request,
Mm.
not you guys like being money driven and being like, oh, like, what else can we put our hands in? So
Right.
I think that says a lot about your company and can say a lot about any company, how they organically grow. Um, says a lot about their your company reputation yourself. So
And it's true because, again, if you want to be in business a long time, you have to believe in what you're selling. Even if you're not selling something, you have to believe in yourself and the product, right? And so when you're dealing with your customers, like I said, we first were mosquito, people are at home. What are they doing in nice, nicer backyards? What are they doing at home? They're grilling, they're eating. I'm like, okay, we need something for fly control. Like you really just start solving problems, and once you have that relationship with your customer, like I said, they're not going to think like, oh, they're trying to just sell me something. They're going to believe what you're telling them. Like you're recommending something for an issue that they have in their yard. Like nobody wants to be eating and swatting flies. And
yeah.
so, like you said, in any business, as long as you are really passionate about what you're doing and take the time to listen to what your customer needs or spot something that you can suggest, it'll bring you money, but in a really natural and organic way. It's nothing sneaky about it. You have the customer's best interest in mind.
Exactly. I love that. Um, so a lot of the people that connect with me are in real estate.
Hmm.
And so I just kind of want to add on that. If you're an agent that has a property, there is nothing worse than walking through a house that is slightly not abandoned, but
Yes.
I mean, no one lives there anymore. So the first person who moves in is going to be the spiders, the cockroaches, the flies. Like, they're the first ones that are going to move in. And I'm going to tell you what, I walk through lots of houses and I go to lots of companies, and it is going to be the first thing that you notice and the first thing that turns you away from buying or doing business, because residential and
Yes.
commercial, you guys service both. So, yeah, so think of it long term at home, but also from the business standpoint of, how you're servicing your clients,
Hmm.
on the real estate side of everything.
Yeah, and I think I have a really funny story that I was like itching to tell you when you started saying walking through. Um, but yes, real estate agents, absolutely. Because again, you think of like people are like, oh, I can do my own pest control. I don't need to pay for it. But you absolutely, as a homeowner and as an agent, need to sell the fact that pest control is needed. If someone's going to be putting their house on the market, realtors should say, okay, when's the last time your house was sprayed? Are there fire ants in your yard? Because
Mhm.
especially families, they're going to be looking at the backyard. Okay. And then if they're seeing all these fire ant mounds, it's just something that they're going to notice, right? Your kids are out there. If they're standing on a beautiful deck or by a pool and they're getting eaten with mosquitoes, it's instantly going to be like aggravation. I don't want to be out here. Oh my God, let's get back in the house. Okay, let me tell you my funny story. And also, yes, realtors suggest before the house is going to go on the market when they're first planning that meeting of we're going to sell it for this price, get your house treated. A lady in Walden, a realtor in Walden, called me in a panic this Monday. And she said that, oh my gosh, my client is in Cali. She is about to call you. And I was referred from someone who was changing locks, right? They were in the process of a final walkthrough with the new buyer. They opened the dishwasher Monday and roaches came out of the dishwasher. And she was like,
Oh.
and so the woman has already moved to Cali, and they are both calling me, begging me if I can get out there Monday because keys are supposed to be exchanged Tuesday. And so, again, and that's what I asked her. Did you run your AC while the house was on the market since she'd already moved? Um,
Mhm.
and she said, yes, but it's moisture and it's that food residue. So just little things that are so minuscule that homeowners don't think about is if there's no pest control, something like that in a clean, cool condo, there's moisture and there's food, even though it's empty. And so they made their way in, and yeah, she's looking at the dishwasher. Then there's 6 roaches. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
So
that is I mean, luckily she caught it.
right.
I'm guessing you guys went out there and fixed the problem?
We did. Yes, we did a full inspection, full treatment. And yeah, the lady was so, and again, in California, they just don't have the bugs like Texas does. And she's,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And I actually had to explain to her that we do it every 3 months. Um, because yeah, you absolutely need it. They can get in. If they want to get in, they will. So we baited. It's called baiting when you see multiple stages of roaches. So the bigs, the nymphs, which is a baby, and then there's adolescent. So there was 6 in there. They had been in there a little bit because there was a baby. So
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing worse than being the person who actually purchases the property, getting so excited to move in, and if they would have found it, like, obviously it's not going to cancel the deal, but it shifts your first initial reaction of being able to move in and being excited
I
versus,
know.
having that emergency phone call. So,
Well, and then you're like, "Oh gosh, are they just in this room or are they all over? Am I gonna be sleeping at night and have a
right?
surprise?" Ugh.
Is
So
there a like an infestation somewhere? Like, where is this concern really coming from? Yeah.
right,
So,
right.
no. So, and like you said, every 3 months, like this isn't just a one-time thing. Real quick, I want to touch on, I know you probably get this question all the time, but it's what do you use?
Mm,
And, I have pets, I have kids, I'm barbecuing outside. I don't necessarily want to be inhaling a bunch of like pest control stuff. So,
right.
I know you guys have a fantastic product. So, if you could kind of go into that a little bit, and maybe for people who aren't in North Texas, or I guess we're South Texas, North
Yes.
Houston.
Mhm.
um, maybe just some questions to
Yeah.
ask their pest control people. So,
So pest control again, getting into, and the older you get, the more your house is your asset. Like you care about taking care of it. Your focus shifts on what's worth paying for, right? With pest control, you want to make sure that you're not just you want to have that relationship with the office, with the owner, whoever is handling the calls, because you want to be able to find out A, if they're licensed. I mean, the market is saturated. B, if their products, if it's natural or if it's not natural, are they a responsible applicator? People can be, and I've seen it. I've been in off where I've worked at companies like in office buildings that they come in and they're just like spraying, and you're sitting at your desk just working. They're like, "Oh, you're fine," and they're just like spraying the office. You're like, "Is this fun?" Our company, I have said like countless times. All of our products are backed by science. We have done the research, we have paid companies to make sure that the products are geared towards specific insects that we're treating for. We're not going to just go buy like this 300-gallon one-stop shop solution and come saturate your yard. So that's more pesticides for the environment, the butterflies, the pollinators, all that stuff that's harmful to them. You want to
yeah.
make sure that, and you can watch them. You can look out your window and see other companies. Some just treat all the way up a house. They'll treat like all in the air. They should be pointing that nozzle if it's a misting backpack to the foliage. They should be only treating up a certain height on the house, depending on what they're treating for. Um, but yeah, it's very scientific and it should be done responsibly. And our method, it's up to the customer totally, but we don't treat inside unless there's an infestation or unless it is a first time homeowner and it's a new house and they want it treated before they move in. Because regardless, even though it's a small amount on the baseboards, it's still a pesticide, so you shouldn't be breathing it in if you don't have to be. Like I said, infestation, regardless, it's geared towards their exoskeletons, roaches, ants, but it should all be done outside. So
So, if you see a cockroach in your living room, is that a good time to have someone come inside? Or if you treat outside, would then you be okay inside?
and again, I still surprise myself that I can talk about this and I know about it. But roaches, Literally, I could not say that word a year ago. Roaches are hitchhikers. So the first thing a company's going to ask you is how many did you see? If it's more than one, were they different sizes? American roaches and German roaches are the two types. The Americans are those big ones that you'll see like after a rain, or if you get Amazon boxes, they're hitchhikers. They come in. And that's nothing because they're not the infestors. The German roaches are the smaller, brown, and you are in trouble if you see them because they multiply like crazy. And you really do. You can't fight it on your own. No product on the market can be sold to just a consumer that can fight it, let alone they don't know the method to do it. It's not a one-stop kill. It takes several applications and monitoring um, to make sure that population's gone. You're bringing a lot of memories, and it's just it's mostly a hygiene thing. But like we treated again, you know how many people moved here over the summer, right? And so we treated a lady who rented a house while her house was being built, and the house was clean, but boxes. So somehow in the moving truck their Germans got in those boxes, and she kept all these boxes in a room upstairs for when she moved, and she started seeing roaches downstairs, and there was a full-blown infestation in her boxes in this like in a bedroom. So
Oh,
it's not always, I mean, anyone can get them, and that's also a myth. People are like, "Oh, it's from being dirty or leaving food or like wetness," but they're tricky. And again, another reason why that good barrier on the outside is needed because Americans, if they do get in and you don't have that barrier, they'll just kind of wander around and they'll find their way out or they'll die. But with the barrier, they'll cross it, it'll get on their stomach, and then if they get in your house, they'll die inside. So,
right. I'd rather see a dead cockroach than a live one.
right. I know. So, yes, don't be afraid if it's a big one. They're disgusting and gross, but they're just kind of wandering around looking for water, seeing what's going on in your house. Like, yeah, they're not bringing like the family with them.
Right? I
Yes.
I will say when I first moved to Texas, I still remember the first time I ever saw a cockroach. It was one of the worst experience in my life. I was
Yes.
outside too, so it wasn't like an in-house experience. Like it was outside, but they are like
Did it
massive.
fly? Did it fly?
Uh no, it didn't fly away.
Ugh.
I do remember seeing a flying one. I remember that as well, but yeah, so I definitely can relate to that. We also had German ones in our first house, and I like took a shower every single day. Like as a
Yeah.
person, yeah, I mean, like you said, in America, I mean, we're pretty clean. Like you're just not used to things like that as often. I mean, even in the
Right.
South, you're just not it's not like necessarily a crazy common thing. And yeah, we had roaches in our kitchen and I finally found them in our microwave.
Oh
They were
my God.
yeah, when I took that thing and I threw it outside. But I
Yeah.
don't like yeah,
It's
I don't
scary.
even know how they got in or and they never died. We use the microwave all the time. They never died. They
I
were in the
And
yeah.
that's why it takes more than one application because we use what's called an insect growth regulator. Again, backed by science. So those nymphs to adulthood, when the nymphs and the adolescents eat that, it stunts their growth. So they'll never mature. They can't because they can reproduce at young ages, and so it'll stunt their growth to where they cannot reproduce, and then it will kill them. But it's like it is such a process to get rid of an infestation.
Yeah,
So do not wait. If anybody listening sees little ones, call immediately.
right? Preventative.
Yes.
Um real quick touch on your mosquito stuff that you guys spray in the backyard and kind of how that works.
Yeah. So
Okay.
mosquito, again, the thing that like made us us, it's every 3 weeks. And that's another thing that you can look for is a lot of pest control companies, they say, oh yeah, we do mosquito. And a lot of calls that I get, I say, well, how often are they coming? And it's once a month. And that's not gonna work. It has to be every 3 weeks because that's the life cycle of an adult mosquito. So even a bottle cap size of water can have 250 eggs. It doesn't take a lot to have wetness, little spots and dips in your backyard that can have a ton of eggs. And so we treat every 3 weeks. Our technician will walk the property, look for standing water, look for problem areas. You think sprinkler boxes, French drains, any of those things that we just don't think about, that's holding water, which is where they're going to drop some eggs. So he'll treat that with a larvicide and a granule, depending on whatever else. We have different techniques that we'll use. So either granule or larvicide. We have briquettes. We even treat creeks behind people's houses. It's completely safe. But again, natural stuff. And then any of the foliage that's around your backyard or your front yard, bushes, any kind of heavy foliage, they love shade. So that's where they're going to hang out. They hang out all under that foliage. And we'll use a backpack sprayer, mister, it's a mist, very fine. And you'll see him kind of like paint it. It's just a very smooth application of a solution, and that's every 3 weeks. So if any of your neighbors' mosquitoes or mosquitoes just flying around, land on that foliage, it absorbs into their exoskeleton and kills them. And so that's the magic, right? Is having human eyes on the water to treat that, and then that solution. So we have natural, and then we've got bifin, which we use. And again, backed by science, we are responsible applicators. It's not going to kill bees. It will not kill butterflies, lizards, frogs. I get that question about little tree frogs. And it's safe to kids and pets. So, and it
That's
really, and again, talking about Richard wanting to start this, and it's scary to start a business. It's your money. You're like starting from nothing. You are doing something new. And I have the marketing background, so I could do all the research and make the ads and everything and learn the material, but doesn't work. And so he went, and we have a son, a little kid, so he loves to be outside. He showed me, and it really does. It works. And it still blows my mind that, like, if Braxton goes down the street and he'll come back and has a mosquito bite, I'm like, what neighbor? Do they know what we do? Because we just have that luxury of, like, you just forget you use it. So your backyard is mosquito free. But it's true. It really works. And that's why it's an easy thing to talk about when people call. So it's
that
great.
is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, it's constantly a need, like you said, every 3 weeks. I mean, it's not they're pests and they don't ever go away. So,
Right. Well,
but you
and
can slow them and stop them.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, and like I said, our homes, it's our investment. We work hard. You want to come home and you just want to relax. You want to be able to look outside, let your kids play in the backyard, go sit on your patio. And when you're getting bitten, it just takes all the fun away, right? Like, you don't get
Yeah.
to enjoy what you've worked hard for. So it's affordable. And again, we're no contract, stop it, start it whenever, but it absolutely is something that'll improve the quality of your life and your kids' life and your animals. Because heartworm, they can infect dogs too, mosquitoes.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Exactly. I mean, a lot of people who aren't from Texas, yeah, I mean, those bugs carry so many diseases, and it's a real thing. Everyone has to be on heartworm protection, but if you have an indoor animal that you just let out sometimes, yeah, if you don't want to pay for the medicine, then pay for the control of your backyard so you can let
Right.
them out and feel good about it. So that's a
For
good point.
sure. For sure.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, Lacey. We've obviously done a one-on-one before and everything,
Yeah.
but I just, I love to teach other people about businesses that are around, questions to ask, what to look for. And, you guys obviously created an awesome company and stand behind everything that you guys say, sell, and do. So, it's just a really good example. So I definitely appreciate it.
Yes. And I want to give one more tip. Contracts, a lot of people, again, with the people moving down here, they're like, well, I'm in a contract. You shouldn't have to sign a contract to get pest control, right? Like, it's a gotcha tactic. It's a pay this money to start it up and then sign this contract for a year to 3 years. Someone called me with a 3-year contract. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
So yeah, if your product works and you want that customer, you shouldn't have to make them sign a contract to keep them. It's all about treating someone right and making sure your product works. So you do not have to sign a contract. If someone's watching and think that's the norm, it's not. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Businesses should work for your business, not lock you into something and then fight you to stay and keep taking your money. So,
right, for sure.
right, it's about the service, not about locking you in somewhere. So, I definitely appreciate that, and I
Yeah.
love it. And yeah, so hopefully, we'll get some traction and everything, and get people your way. But I know your company's in need, so it's
Yeah.
going good right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lacey,
Yeah.
and
Thanks
we'll
for
definitely
doing this.
do it again. I know. Thanks for testing it out with me. Now I know it has to be phone.
Yes.
I'll be more prepared for that. So,
Perfect.
but this is cool, being able to connect and get it out there. So, and you can use it and share it as well. So,
I love it.
awesome. Thanks, Lacey. Have a good one.
Thank you, Valerie. Bye bye.
Bye. I don't know how to do this.